Why was Luke Rowe trolling Philippe Gilbert today? This was stage 13 of the Tour de France, a breakaway day, possibly one for the sprinters that can get over some hills if their teams were committed. Just a lumpy transition day after the hard Alps that we've had. We've got a sort of hilltop finish tomorrow. There should be another break and then another transition day on Sunday. But yeah, it's a flat finish, but just climbs all day, really hot conditions, some crosswinds, and the climbs, some of them are quite steep. So I don't know, it would be a difficult day for Bike Exchange, Lotto, De Koenig Quickstep if they actually wanted to pace. And we saw Mads Pedersen and Trek, who are light on sort of heavy teammates to help, trying to get in this break. Pippo Ganna was trying to get in there, and you see Alpecin are marking him. So Alpecin put themselves on police duty at the start, but they didn't let a break go. They didn't let the right break go before like a 2K 8% climb. You see them policing Van Kiersbroek here. They're not letting these moves go, I think, is that Adrian Petit. So instead, a really strong break is going to form on the climb itself that they can't control. So they should have let an easy, not an easy, a smaller or well-controlled break go before this climb and then blocked it up because now Ganna, Kung, Jorgensen, they formed the break. Alpecin are now chasing their entire team. And maybe that wasn't possible. Bike Exchange and Lotto, I'm not sure, were helping them as much in controlling. And then Quinn Simmons says to Pedersen, who's tried multiple times at this point to get in the break, come on, one last effort. He looks back, Pedersen, he seems kind of unconvinced. And then they go, and the Bike Exchange guy loses the wheel. Uhl bridges across Fred Wright to their wheel. And so we have four guys chasing Jorgensen, Kung, and Ganna with Seneschal for quick-step chasing, and then Lotto. They and Alpecin embark on a period of self-flagellation in the heat for many hours, which has Luke Rowe chuckling a little bit.
You think you can catch that? Huh? You think you can catch that?
Rowe almost seemed like perplexed that Lotto were chasing. So this is the strongest flat man, strongman break you'll almost ever see. Kung, Ganna, Pedersen, Fred Wright, who's got diamonds in the legs. Jorgensen's a strong guy. Uhl, it's a ridiculous break. Geschke looking very nice with that beard and polka dots, I must say. And they get to the climb. And here's the problem for Alpecin and Lotto. So they're chasing well on the flat. They got the gap at 140. They bring it down well on the flat, in fact. But every climb, especially these longer ones, disrupts the rhythm, and Simmons can tap it out, and the gap goes back out again. It's at 217. Jorgensen, great climber. All these guys in the breaker, guys that can climb pretty well, plus also huge engines on the flat. And you see the sprinters teams have to go slow on the climbs. Not for Philipsen so much, but you see like Kruijswijk and Trekker moving up. The pace is not on here, but Ewan, Jakobsen, and Groenewegen, they got to nurse them over the climbs. And Bike Exchange didn't offer a rider to help Alpecin and Lotto on the flatter sections, I don't think, before too late. And then on the climbs, they weren't helping either. So the gap would go out, it would come down to 124 when they helped on the flat. Then there's crosswinds, and so nervousness, it comes down. But then they get to the climb. Gilbert's maybe pacing a bit too hard. He's dropped Van Kiersbroek, and the gap's at 203 again. So it's just that yo-yo. And when you let a break this strong, you're either in it or you're not winning the stage, frankly. And then Ewan crashes, so matters get even worse for the break, for the peloton rather, because Lotto now aren't helping the chase. They drop back. Ewan, can he continue? And they got their teammates, half of them, ahead of Ewan now. He's drafting the Alpecin car because Alpecin know they need Lotto's help to keep chasing this breakaway, but they're chasing. Then the motor's getting angry because Phoenix, he's just drafting the car the whole time. And then, and you can see when he actually does go ahead of the Alpecin car, you see Lotto give the Alpecin guys a thumbs up. Thanks for letting Caleb sit in your draft for a bit. He's like a minute 20 behind the peloton now, which Quickstep are pacing because Jakobsen's in the group. So they're making it harder for Ewan to come back. Meanwhile, the break's still at 2:15, 2 minutes. And we haven't got to like the 6K climb, which is here, where the sprinters are going to have to go slow again and Ewan gets dropped at the base. So not a great day for Lotto, and it all depends now on this one Alpecin rider pacing and what Jumbo-Visma want to do. And Jumbo-Visma seemingly, well not seemingly, they had no interest in chasing for the stage win, particularly in the heat against a breakaway this strong with Simmons just pulling hard for Pedersen, eventually dropping at the end of that climb, and he's held the gap at 220, and we see Luke Rowe on the radio, no one's chasing from the sprinters teams, and he's probably telling Ganna they've all stopped chasing, and this gap's going to explode by a minute. At plus, as Merku dunks a bottle of water over Fabio Jakobsen, it keeps going. No one's pacing this climb until Bike Exchange come to the front when it's at 3:30. And now you're never bringing it back. Like Alpecin, they got one Dillier who's on his last legs trying to help. Like you got two guys, maybe three, Bauer and Janssen, pacing against like the best, some of the best classics riders and flat riders in the world who are all working well together. It's technical as well, and yeah, we don't have too many climbs left, but yeah, just a chase in vain, frankly. So the break was going to win 100%. Bike Exchange eventually called it off after a lot of work. Maybe they were hoping Jumbo Visma would eventually chip in, but I think this technical finish, they didn't want it to be more dangerous than it needed to be. Pedersen attacks that break before he is attacked. He's the fastest man in the group. He knows if he goes to finish, they're just going to attack him over and over and over again. Kung, Jorgensen, Ganna, Wright, Uhl. And so he attacks before he is, reduces the group down to just Wright and Uhl, who bridged across to him. Israel going for back-to-back podiums on each stage, and Kung and Ganna dropped, and this was the end of the last little climb. Uhl attacks, but he's got Pedersen in the wheel when he goes, who takes up the majority of the responsibility for keeping up the pace. Fred Wright also attacks him out of a corner with 3Ks to go, but Pedersen he was in the wheel, and then he was worried Uhl was going to chop him, so then he comes back out of the wheel, but he closes it easily. This reminded me of Vermeersch's attack in Paris-Roubaix, but at this point, going to the line with Pedersen, even in hot conditions, there can only be one winner. Uhl leading them out, just ensuring he gets the stage podium. And Mads Pedersen, there's no doubt about who was winning this sprint. Winning easily, multiple bike lengths on Fred Wright. I don't think I've sped this up. And another stage win for the Danes, who are having maybe their best Tour de France ever. Pedersen winning the stage rather than waiting in the peloton. A huge win for Trek. Wright second, Uhl third, then Kung, Jorgensen, Ganna, Van Aert takes a few more points in seventh, then Seneschal, Mozzato, Pasqualon rounding out the top 10. Here's what Pedersen had to say after the stage.
Was that exactly the plan, to be in the breakaway, a little breakaway, and to do what you did in the finish?
So if it was more than 4 guys, we should be in, and I should be in the break. Because we didn't know how the other teams wanted to take the last climb, 45 to go. And yeah, for a long time I thought it was a mistake to be in the break because we only had 2 minutes. But yeah, in the end it paid off to be in the break, and I think today was super hard for everyone. It was such a warm day, so everyone was really on the limit. With 10 Ks to go on the climb, I really didn't want to be at the finish with 6 riders. It would be too many guys to control. So I tried to attack, and yeah, luckily we split up the break, so it was only 3 guys, and it's a lot easier to control for me. And from there on, I just wanted to, from 10 to 5, make the gap big as possible. So we had time to slow down and gamble a bit in the last few kilometers, and yeah, luckily it paid off for me today.
No real changes on GC of note, well, at all really, and we'll see with the Watts per kilo test to Mendy tomorrow. 10-minute climb, very, very steep. Will there be any gaps? Pogacar will surely try. Stay tuned for that tomorrow. Ciao.